Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to explore a fascinating moment in history when ancient Greece came to ancient Egypt. Was it a battle, a takeover, or something different? Let's find out. Oh, the ancient Greeks just loved acting. Okay, class, you know the drill. This week, Jen, Manu, Sammy and Benji will be our actors, and the rest of you will help with the stage. Let's get a move on, class. First, let's look at where these places are. Ancient Greece was in southern Europe, near the Mediterranean Sea. Egypt, as we know, is in Africa, just across that same sea. Now, let's meet an important person. Alexander the Great. Wow. He was a king from a place near Greece called Macedon. He became king when he was just 20 years old. But he didn't just stay at home. He wanted to build a huge empire. Alexander and his army travelled across many lands, conquering places as they went. Eventually, in 332 BC, he arrived in Egypt. Now here's something surprising. When Alexander arrived in Egypt, there wasn't a big fight. The Egyptians actually welcomed him. Before Alexander, Egypt was ruled by the Persian Empire, and many Egyptians were unhappy. So when Alexander arrived, they saw him as a hero and a new leader. The Egyptians gave Alexander a very special title. They made him Pharaoh. That means he became the ruler of Egypt. Just like the great kings before him, he was treated like a god, just as Egyptian pharaohs had been for thousands of years. Alexander didn't just rule, he also built something new. He founded a city called Alexandria. This city became a centre of learning, a place for trade, and a meeting point for Greek and Egyptian cultures. It even had one of the most famous libraries in the ancient world. After Alexander, something interesting happened. Greek and Egyptian ideas began to mix together. This is called a blend of cultures. For example, Greek language was used in Egypt. Egyptian gods were still worshipped. Art and buildings show both styles. After Alexander died, one of his generals took control of Egypt. His name was Ptolemy. He started a new line of rulers called the Ptolemies. They ruled Egypt for almost 300 years. One of the most famous rulers from this time was Cleopatra. Even though she was part of a Greek family, she was an Egyptian pharaoh. She spoke many languages and was a very clever leader. She was the last pharaoh of Egypt. Wait a moment, class. Sammy, please calm down. Remember, class, while we all love doing this, nothing lasts forever, and we must always clean up after ourselves. Sammy, please carefully pick up your costume and the props. So, class, was this really an invasion? Well, yes and no. Alexander arrived with an army, but he wasn't resisted. He was welcomed and became ruler. So it was more like a peaceful takeover than a big war. Enough of that, class. Gather round. Let's go through some final thoughts on today's episode. First, Alexander the Great was a famous Greek king who came to Egypt and was made king, or pharaoh as the Egyptians call it, not by power or through war, but because the Egyptians wanted change. He built the city called Alexandria, and the Ptolemies ruled after him for almost 300 years. Remarkable work today, class. And remember this famous saying, all good things must come to an end. Finally, it's very important we clean up after ourselves and leave things how we found it. Well done today, class, and you should all be very proud of yourselves. Really, marvellous work today. We hope you've enjoyed this episode on Ancient Greece Invades Egypt, on History Made Simply. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and see you next time. Goodbye.